Welcome to Bears in Exile. Today is Wednesday, June 15th. Tonight we'll be looking at the Dow, SPX, VIX, TNA, UUP, FXE, GLD, and SLV. And once again we had a nasty big red candle today. Continuation signal. Unfortunately, that also means that the uptick that we had back here has failed, and these succeed more often than they fail by a good amount, but nonetheless this one has failed. We're 4 bars since we got that uptick, and that one is done. The uptick from yesterday, of course, is still in effect. We have 3 more bars to reach its target. All of this bubbly stuff is not fixed. And we have all kinds of things to look at. Of course, the short-term moving averages are pointing down. We have a further crossover of the long-term moving averages, but it is still generally a flat line. Our secondaries, we did get a lower tick on the MACD histogram, but it has much farther to go if it is going to invalidate the possible positive divergence that is setting up. And the other secondaries are either low or have more room to move. No, they all have more room to move to the downside if it wants to. So this is in no way a signal of a bottom, but there it is. We're going to need a reason for the markets to rally, and for that we're going to need a really positive NDE or a candle which puts hope in the bears or the bull's mouth and sour taste in the bear's mouth, but we shall have to see. Beyond that, it would look like it will have some sort of reaction at 11,800 due to some other indicators that I use here, notably the black box that I'm working on. So I will be on the lookout to see if there is a reaction at 11,800 should we get there. And as bearish as everyone is, easily possible that it will get down to that. But that's what I'm looking for. On the SPX, more of the same. And you know what? This is a bearish engulfing on SPX. I didn't bother to check if it was on the Dow, but if it's on the SPX, it probably is on the Dow as well. So continuation candle, bearish engulfing, not a good sign. Uptick, just like the Dow, failed. Uptick, still have 3 bars to see if it wants to work on that. We do have more separation on the SPX for forming a bearish bar, and we'll have to see how that develops. But enough of the bad news. Now for the alternatives. On the VIX, we are well outside the upper Bollinger Band, meaning that it will need to go sideways or down, or a combination of both, to eject it from the bar. Unless it's going to go parabolic and just push the bar up, which is possible. You do see it back here a little bit, so that certainly that is possible. Is it likely? More often than not, it should just be ejected. We do have extreme separation of the short-term moving averages. We still have a flat line on the long-term moving averages. Secondaries are either high or almost high. So if this is any tell, we should have at least some slowdown or resistance tomorrow against the bears. Beyond that, we have TNA. TNA still has its uptick. We still have 3 more bars to see if it's going to act on that and fulfill that uptick. Secondaries are pretty mixed. Kind of interesting that we did not get a lower tick on the MACD histogram. And of course, we are forming a bearish bar on TNA. And this one, I'm very interested in getting some calls when it looks like we have bottomed and will move up for a bounce. You know, not to say that that bounce is going to be some massively change in direction to go bullish all the way to Dow 20K, but you can see just based upon the Bollinger Bands, if we were to get some sort of a reversal or bounce to go up to test the forming bar, that is still a move of you know, just over 300 points, and assuming that it goes down further, possibly to 11,800, you're looking at a potentially a 300 or 400 point move. Not too shabby if you can catch it, but I would not even attempt to catch it until it looks obvious. And of course, by obvious, I mean it's already, the move is underway and momentum is in your favor. Now, UUP, the currency's had just incredible movement today, and you can see the dollar is above the upper Bollinger Band, so that definitely is something to be aware of. And we still have the bullish bar to contend with to suck the price back down into itself and attempt to expel it. Beyond that, all the secondaries are pretty mixed. It looks like the MACD is on its way up. Everything looks like it's on its way up, but I would not count out the Bollinger Band or the bar. Not yet. We do not have complete separation going into the bar, so the chances of the short-term moving averages breaking through the bar and continuing on their merry way is at this moment unlikely. FXE, we noted in the forum today how the euro had lost 3 pennies intraday, which is absolutely insane. And we still have a bullish bar. It is deteriorating, but it is still there. The candle is sitting on top of the lower Bollinger Band. It would have been a nicer tell had it been under it, but that's what we have. Secondaries are all mixed, but is this going to just drop like a rock? At this point, I wouldn't think so. We do not have complete separation going into the bar, so the Euro bulls do have that in their favor. Today was a very nasty NDE day, and of course NDEs trump all charts. As can be seen here, we were sitting on the bar and just fell through it. The candle, that is, not the moving averages. So to me, looks overdone, but of course sentiment is ruling, and the news is ruling at this moment. So further down is possible, but certainly going to have a much harder time continuing with the Bollinger Band instead of having a big open space. GLD, a little bit of an update, just a big bullish bar and short-term moving averages almost sitting on top of it. I think that if we do get a move down in the dollar and a move up in the euro, you know, the gold will jump up, and with all the problems with sovereigns, that would also seem to imply that a move up would be appropriate. Upper Bollinger Band right about 151, $2 away, and that would be a nice move and get some separation of the short-term moving averages, going back in the positive direction once again. Secondaries are all mixed, but they do appear like they would like to go up. MACD histogram is even today. If we get an uptick on that, that will be a good sign as well. And now the really confusing one. which is SLV, and it did have a positive day today, and secondaries are still mixed and neutral. We don't have anything to go on. We still have a flat line of long-term moving averages. We have sideways expansion of the short-term moving averages, which tells us absolutely nothing. There is not much to be gleaned by silver at this moment, and just one that is I would not be playing until it figured out what it wants to go do with itself. All kinds of cases for a bullish move and cases for a bearish move. Either one can be correct, so this is definitely a sideliner for the moment. Contraction of the Bollinger Bands does suggest that it is going to have a serious move one way or the other very shortly. So especially if that gets even closer, I would be concerned about it. But when the move does come, it should be fairly one-sided and could be scalped for some money. But definitely high risk and not one that I would encourage taking. As always, all investing decisions are your own. This chart and video are for entertainment, educational, and consumption of time purposes only.